but this meeting is being recorded. So this evening we're going to do a jump back to what the beginners group were doing on yesterday, and then we're going to do a new topic, which is verbs modifying nouns. So without further ado, let me just find the slides. Just a second, guys. Oh, it's Kim. That. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Huh? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? That's not it. Sorry, guys. Zoom's being a pain in the ass. There it is. Okay. So there are still a few problems. There are still a few people having problems trying to work out when to use der and when to use ni. So I just put this together for the beginners group, and we might find it useful just to go over it, just to kind of confirm our understanding. So this doesn't cover every single use of ni. It doesn't cover every single use of der, because there are of course use of ni when we're talking about the passive form and the causative form. There's uses of der when we talk about how to get from A to B, whether we go by train or by bus, using der in this case, or using something to achieve something. But this is talking about location, how to mark location. So with der, we should visualize this as just imagining that something happens somewhere, and it's not really that important where it happens. So der indicates the location where something happened. It's not significantly linked to the verb. So the verb could take place anywhere. It's got no relevance to the location. It's merely a location of something happening. So a hint is if there is an object marked with o in the sentence, then the location is probably going to be marked with der in normal situations. There are some exceptions, but in normal situations, we will mark the location with der. The main exception is if the verb is in the present continuous form, shite imasu, tabete imasu, mite imasu, then we will still mark the location with ni in that case, because imasu is the primary verb in that sentence when we have a present continuous verb. Okay, so far, guys? So past tense or present tense, we mark the location with der. Ni, as we all should be very well used to now, is used to mark the objective of when we're moving. So any moving verbs like ikimasu, iku, kuru, kaeru, modoru, and also transitive movement verbs as well. So ageru, watasu, to pass across, kaisu, to give back, kureru, kudasai, these are all kudasaru, these are all ni markers. So ni indicates a direction or location directly linked with a verb. Usually used with going, coming, putting, being. So placing something as well, okimasu, oku, or putting something inside something, ireru, is also considered to be a movement type verb, in which case we will use ni. Now, I've just marked a couple of exceptions there as well, haven't I? If we use oku, if we use a transitive verb like oku, ireru, then we may well be doing this to an object. So we might have ni in there as well, even though we're using a present or past tense verb. But if there's no object in the sentence, then it's quite likely that the location is going to be marked with ni most of the time. Any questions so far, guys? Okay, let's do a few little test exercises. So, Tom, how would you say I ate lunch in the park?
公園でランチを食べました。
Good. Yeah,公園で. What would you use for lunch then, Tom?
Lunch.
Ah, okay. No, lunch is fine. But we can also use chūshoku or hiru gohan.
Yeah. Yes, because hero is noon.
Exactly, yes. Yeah.
Iwogahan.
And then Joel, I will go to the shop.
Shop is mise, right?
Yes, correct.
店に行きます。
Good. Mise ni ikimasu. I'm just going to stop sharing a second because Kim's trying to get in. David, I'm going home now. Bon appetit.
Thank
Going
you.
home.
Excuse me for being late.
No problem, no problem. Sorry, David, go ahead.
家に帰ります。
Yes, good. And now?
今家に帰ります。
Very good, yes. Taya, I met David at the cinema.
Really?
Yes, you did. Yes, I did.
David さんが
Not gut. So if you're meeting
Mhm.
somebody, the two particles
sorry,
you can
sorry.
use are to
David さん
or ni.
で
Hmm?
Okay.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. To
Okay.
Taya to Earth.
Okay. David さんと映画館に
not
会
映画館に
映画館で会い
Yeah.
ました。
I must have. Good. Yes. Andre, I saw a hippo at the zoo. You're not muted, Andre, but I can't hear you.
How
That's
do you
it.
say hippo in Japanese?
It's the opposite of stupid. It's not baka, it's kaba.
Kaba.
Yeah.
Kaba. Kaba を動物園で見ました。
Very good. Kaba o doubutsuen de mimashita. Good. Wayne, I drove to Paris.
パリに、運転しまし
Yeah,
た。
exactly. Yeah, perfect. Pari ni unten shimashita. Penguin, are you joining for this lesson as well? Cool. Okay, Penguin, would you like to do I watched TV at school?
学校でテレビを見ました。
Perfect. Jonathan, how about look over there?
あっちに見る。
Yes, good. Yeah. So again, if we're looking, we use the direction ni to mark the direction. If we're watching television, then we don't need to say terebi ni mimasu because this sounds like you're looking at the television. But terebi o mimasu, and then we should mark the location. Hang on, just letting some more people in. Okay. Kim, please put the keys on the shelf. What's happened?
The key was tegami? No.
Kagi. Kagi.
Kagi.
Yeah.
And shelf?
This is an Iaido word, actually. You should know it. There's a kata in your okuden called under the shelf or under the latrine.
That's in the third series.
Yes, it is. Seated okuden.
I haven't studied that one.
What? Okay.
Not
Anybody?
yet.
Can anybody help?
Help me.
Tana.
何
7.
7。
Tana.
Tana.
Like
Tana.
tanashita. Yeah.
And key was, I forgot it already again.
Kagi.
Kagi.
Yeah.
Okay. Put the kagi on the shelf. Kagi o tagana tekana. No.
Tana.
Tana. Kage o tana de.
You're kind of moving something from one place to another.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's ni.
Yeah.
Kage o tana de ni. And then put mote. 持ってください。
So to put, the verb is oku. Oku.
置く is an 置いてください。
Very good. Oite kudasai. Excellent. Louise, I will swim in the sea tomorrow.
明日、海に、
Okay, this means you're going to swim to the sea tomorrow.
Okay, so then 海で
Yes. Yeah.
泳ぎます。
Yes. Good. Are you there, Wayne?
Sumimasen.
Go ahead, Tom.
One time we had a discussion with C, and we also, but I forgot if you used the particle umi o. What's the difference with ni and de? You
Or,
had 3 positions.
so or means you're going to swim across the sea.
Cross
Which-
the sea.
Yeah, which is possible with the Channel, but not likely with the Atlantic. There means I'm going to swim in the sea, and ni means I'm going to swim to the sea, which might be possible in Belgium.
Maybe have a big river, Schelden, so.
Yeah, you could swim in the river to the sea, but yeah, it's swim at the
I
sea.
was wondering
basically in the
about
sea.
the O because I forgot. It was,
Okay, yeah, that's to mean I swam a sea, which means I swam across the sea. Yeah, I'm not sure if Wayne is actually. Are you working, Wayne, and just listening? I'll assume yes for now. Tom, please give Andrea a cake.
And ni kiki o. Kudasai.
Yes, good. I can think of this. Excellent. Joel, I ride my bike in the park.
公園で自転車を乗ります。
Yes, perfect. Coin
公園で
Yeah. So this again, this could be if you said koen ni jitensha or norimasu. This means I ride my bike to the park, but this isn't what I'm. This isn't the kind of principle I'm trying to get. The idea of doing something somewhere, and that verb not really being connected to the place. Yeah. David, will you come to my party?
パーティーに行きます。
Shh, Kim. Go ahead, David.
パーティーに行きますか？
So this is come to my party.
パーティーに行きますか？
Yes, good. Taya, I will put bread in the oven. Fna.
Pan o oven ni
Mhm.
hairimasu? I
Ah,
don't know.
So it's
What
the
you would say?
transitive version of hairu, which is, can anybody help?
Not the same oku?
Oku
Does
is
that work?
put, but to put something inside is, go ahead, Jonathan.
入れる。
Ireru. Yes, ireru.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Pan o oven ni irimasu.
Iremasu.
Iremasu.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a difference between ireru and just a second, ireru and iru. Sorry, there's just a crowd of people waiting to get in. Jacqueline? Who's Jacqueline?
Okay. Ireru.
Ah, that's Jacqueline. Jacqueline, your hair's much shorter than I was expecting for a woman. Yes, ireru. Cool. And then last one, Andre, I passed the book to the teacher.
先生に本を渡しました。
Yes, good. Watashimashita. So again, passing something to somebody is also, you mark the person with ni. Cool. Right. Any questions, guys, about ni or de? I'm assuming now we've done this lesson, everybody will never get this wrong. Excellent. Cool. Let's go on to today's thing. Stop sharing a second. Right. So today we are looking at verbs that modify nouns and also the idea of multiple tenses, which we'll explain and explore as we go through this. So, usually with verbs, if we've got a transitive verb, for example, then we usually use nouns are usually marked as the objects to which we apply a verb. For example, tempura o tsukurimasu. I make tempura. Ohashi ga tsukaemasu. So here we're using the potential form. Eigakan ni ikimasu. So eigakan is the noun, but we're marking it with ni to say this is the objective location. This is the direction we're going in. Give me a second. I'm just going to put on my little red pointy thing. And kuruma o unten shimasu. I drive the car. But we can also put verbs before a noun to modify the noun itself before we go on and take that noun and make it the object of another verb. So we can actually make verbs into adjectives. The way we do this is we take the verb in the plain form and then we use the noun, and then we can actually make the principal verb or state afterwards. So des, it is, or deshita, if you want to put this in the past. De wa arimasen, tabemasu, tsukaimashita. Sorry, that should be, yeah, tsukaimashita. So we can put this in the polite form in order to make it clear that this is the principal verb or state. So we call this verb before the noun the modifying verb in comparison with other action verbs in the sentence. The tense of the modifying verb also says something about the status of the noun. For example, what does this mean? Tsukatta knife desu. So tsukatta, you can see this is in the plain past form to make it the knife that you used, and then you're saying des, it is. So this is still being reflected by a positive present state des, but the knife I used. So it's saying I used it in the past, and here it is. If we then change the modifying verb to present continuous tense, this is also possible, and we can say tsukatte iru knife desu. This is the knife that I'm using. And of course, if I put this modifying verb into the plain present tense, then this will say, this is the knife I will use. So now it refers to the future. Or it can also refer to what? If this is in the plain present tense, not only future tense, but anybody?
Present?
Yeah, I mean, you could say it's the one I'm going to use right now, but that still kind of indicates it's something that's going to happen just in the future. Where else would we use the present plain tense like this? Nobody? Okay, it's when we use something on a regular basis. So this is the knife I always use, would be tsukau knife desu. Yeah. In the examples above, the tense of des also says something about the noun. So whether or not I use des here also kind of reflects on the description of this thing. For example, tsukatta knife desu, this is the knife I used. So here des is in the present and affirmative. This is in the past. But what about if I was to say tsukatte iru knife deshita? How does that change the meaning of the sentence?
This was the knife I was using.
Right, this was the knife I was using. Now, sometimes this won't make much difference. But you have to ask yourself, what does it mean if it's deshita? What does deshita mean? How do those two sentences differ?
Maybe now you have a new knife.
Right. So
Not
now
using it anymore.
Exactly. I'm not using it anymore, but also I'm now using another one. So it's now kind of cancelling the truth about this statement. It's saying it was, but it's not now. Therefore, deshita can be used to suggest that something doesn't hold the same status as it used to. これは毎日運転する車でしたが、先週からこれは毎日, there should be 毎日 by the way, 運転する車です. So what does this sentence mean? Have a read through. First one to the buzzer gets
Was
Friday.
the car I
This was the car.
every day, but since last week, I'm using this one every day.
Right, exactly this. Yes, yeah. So this is the car I used every day, but from last week, this is now this other one is the one that I use. As the plain present form scale can also be used to describe regular routines, it is sometimes interchangeable with the present continuous form. So, for example, this one here, 使っている knife and scale knife kind of mean the same thing, unless you want to make a distinction that this is the one I'm using right now, but maybe I'm going to use a different one in the future. Any questions, guys? I think that was all there was on this slide, actually. Yeah. Everybody happy? Ecstatic? Cool. Let's
Need to make some notes.
Okay, I shall leave this up here for a second then. And while you're doing that, I shall go and get a drink. What did I know? Guys, hands up if you own a cat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, that's majority. Have you got a cat, Taya?
No.
No?
Can I ask something?
Is it about a cat or?
No, about this.
Oh, okay.
Grammar.
If it's Japanese, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So what is the difference between 使ったナイフです and below the text in the examples above the tense of des? 使ったナイフです What's the difference between these two?
Sorry, I didn't understand what you said. What's the difference between this one here and this one here?
Yeah, the first one from both of these. What's the difference?
There's no difference between this one and this one.
Okay.
They both say this is the knife I used.
Okay.
Yeah. The difference, the contrast I was trying to make was here between this one and this one. So by putting deshita, how this changes the status of the object, even though in both cases it's the knife you used. When you say 使っている knife deshita, it suggests that there's now another one that you're using.
Okay.
It no longer holds the status of the knife I'm using. Yeah. Well done, Louise. You're not copying this out word for word, are you? I mean, this is like eating my regurgitated vomit.
You can press the print screen button.
Or you can press the print screen button, yeah. Okay. Let's grab these.
Or just look at the slides.
Oh, just look at the slides, yeah. Cool.
Yes.
Actually, I do appreciate people writing their own notes down.
I have to practice my hiragana.
Okay. You're writing out the notes in hiragana? Jesus.
I write every Japanese sentence in hiragana.
Blimey.
It's faster now than I have to say.
Okay, so with all of these examples, of course, you can probably say some of these without using a modifying noun, but that's not the point. I want you to use a modifying noun. So we'll start with Tom. This is the pen I write with every day.
Okay, I would start with mainichi. Mainichi.
Mainichi. Mainichi.
The noun is pen, so pen. Yeah, but I need the verb before it.
Yeah.
This is pen. I write it every day. Donc, kaku.
Good.
Pen. Ga.
Ga.
Oh, because because I finished with des. Ga.
So you don't need ga with des. Just des.
It's just you don't need after the noun particle.
Watashi wa Andy des.
Korega.
Korega is at the front.
But it's implied to korega.
Well, it depends. It depends. Sometimes you can apply it. You don't have to have korega, but you don't have pen ga des. Just the way I don't say Andy ga des. You just say des, don't you? I am.
Okay.
Yeah, or it is. Cool. Now this is slightly problematic. This one actually, because if we use this form, korega mainichi kaku pen des, how would I say this is the painting I draw every day, or this is the picture I draw every day? Korega mainichi kaku e des. I'll select your selection of. I completely sympathise with your selection of verb, but this means that you draw a pen rather than writing with a pen. Yeah.
So I need a different verb.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know a different verb for writing with.
Well, you're not actually right. You write a letter and you draw a picture.
I can use tsukao.
Right, skull. Yeah.
Tsukao pendes.
Yes, yeah. So this is an artifact from English that when we say, in fact, really, it's kind of inferred by with. That's writing with, not writing a pen. Yeah. But in English, we would say write a letter, draw a picture. Then what we don't say is write a pen, we would say write with a pen. So we have to use skull to make this into to use a pen. Yeah.
And I use it every day.
Yes. Yeah. Korega mainichi skull pen desu. Good. Joel. Over there is the thief that stole my wallet.
あそこに財布を盗んだ泥棒です。
盗んだ泥棒です。盗んだ。Yeah, that's correct. 泥棒です。そこに財布の盗んだ泥棒です。Good. Yep, that's it. David, this is the tree that fell over 50 years ago.
Ago is 50年前。
Good. 50年前。
これが50年前。Fell over.
Sorry, give me a second, David. I've just somehow managed to insert. There we go. To fall over like this.
Tausu?
Not tausu. This means to knock over yourself. So for intransitive, this is.
Tauru.
Nearly. Tauru means towel, which is the mistake I made for years. It's taureru.
Taureru.
Yeah.
Yes, I dried the tree.
Yes, toweled it dry. Yeah.
Past tense. 50年前に倒れ taki desu.
Good. Yes. Good. これが50年前倒れた木です。Good. I didn't listen to what you said about ni, purely because if you put ni here, this slightly changes the emphasis of the sentence. This now says this is the tree that fell over. This is the tree that fell over 50 years ago, not which makes the 50 years ago kind of the specific thing. Yeah. Whereas you just want to say this is the tree that fell over 50 years ago. You don't want to compare it with another one that fell over 40 years ago, for example. Yeah, so we don't need mine. Okay, good. Andre, there is a car that costs 5 million yen.
$500 をかかる車があります。
500円
500万円。
あ、万円。円はい。
500万円をかかる車があります。
Yes. Good. Penguin, that is a sword that cuts well.
それはよく着る剣です。
So よく着る
剣
Ken or katana?
刀です。
Yes, good. Excellent. And Jonathan? Dozo.
With the sentence of Andre in my head, I used aru. Is it also possible, or can't we use aru and iru in to modify noun?
For this verb here, you mean? Well, it's
allowed.
Well, 500万円ある車 means a car with 5 million yen. But you want to say a car that costs.
That's the difference.
So yeah, this is why you use kakaru to mean to cost or consume.
In my head, I used aru as there exists a car that is worth 5 million.
You mean here?
No, with the kakaru. Because I use aru as the translation for me for aru was to exist.
That's here though. That's where Andres used aru.
So that, yeah. But then you can't use it as a model. My question was if I can use aru and iru as modifiers in the noun.
So that would mean.
Or is that not possible?
Well, this would change the sentence to "This is the car that exists." But by saying "This is the car," you've already mentioned existence. So the modifier for this one is that it costs 5 million yen. That's the point that you're trying to use to describe it. That's like the adjective. So that's the bit that needs to go before the kuruma bit. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Jonathan, she's a student who can paint very beautiful pictures.
彼女が綺麗に学生です。
Sorry, 学生です。Very good. Kim, speak in a language that you understand.
I would say わかる言葉を話します。
So this is actually a command, though.
話してください。
Okay, good. Yeah. わかる. Can you say the whole sentence again?
わかる言葉を話してください。
話してください. Okay, so I think this is all good, but I think I would use de here
to speak in language.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yes. But if you say I can speak French, for instance, then you say Fransugo ga hanasemasu.
Hanasemasu. Yes, good.
Then you say then you say ga and not o. Okay, no.
Only because this is the potential verb, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you say I just speak French, then you say
if you say I speak French, then this is basically saying I can speak French. So you'd still probably say, if you said Fransugo o hanashimasu, that does literally mean I speak French. But if you want to comment on your ability to speak French, then you should say it's called ga hanasemasu.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Luis, can the person who ate the cake please stand up? Slim Shady.
ケーキを食べた人、立ってください。
Yeah, take it aside. We don't necessarily in conversation we don't necessarily need a don't necessarily need a particle here. But in this case, if you're writing it, which particle would you use? This is quite a sharp kind of question, really. Think about how you say it in your own language, and this might help to decide which one you would use in Japanese.
Is it an interrogative word?
Sorry, Tom?
Is it an interrogative particle or not?
And did you say an imperative?
An interrogative.
Interrogative particle, like
dare?
Sorry, one more time.
Like dare? Dare?
Dare? No.
So I'm trying to decide between ga and o.
It's neither of those.
Neither of them.
So this is one of the rare occasions where wa absolutely fits.
Oh.
You're saying, as for the person who ate the last cake, stand up. Please stand up.
Okay, I don't think in German this does make any sense. But...
Okay, right. Yeah. Okay, Taya, is that the teacher who is teaching at Waseda?
Waseda で教えている先生がいますか?
That means is.
ありますか?
That means is there a teacher who is teaching at Waseda? How do you say is that the teacher?
Okay. 早稲田で教えている先生ですか?
There's ka. That's all you have to do. Yeah, there's ka. Question.
Make it too difficult.
What about this particle?
So, not teaching somewhere, you should say ni.
Well, this is the present continuous tense.
Okay, so then it's ni.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Tom, is this the chair that John was sitting in?
The chair is Izu, so Johnson must come. So Johnson, Nisuata.
So this means John San. Somebody sits in John to make. If you say John San ni.
Yeah, but I thought for sitting we also had ni because it was instantaneous.
This isn't the point though. You've marked John as being the position rather than the person who is.
Yeah, the seat is a position. So Johnson. Yeah. So just Johnson. So the chairs. So Suwata. No.
Yeah, John's. So we'll leave this blank here for a second.
Yeah.
Suwata, did you say?
So Suwata.
Yep, good.
Izu.
Yep.
Deska.
Okay, so you
no.
got. Yeah, no is good. Ga is also fine. Yep.
No.
Good. Joa, please wash the used plates.
使った皿払ってください。
Sorry, can you say again?
払ってください。
Not pay, but wash sounds very similar.
Yeah, pay is 払う.
Yeah.
What should be? I can't remember.
It's so close. It's Adal rather than Hadal. Yeah.
Not with an age in the beginning.
Correct.
So it's Arao. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So 使った皿洗ってください.
Yeah. And what's the particle after Sara?
Oh.
Yeah. Good. Exactly. David, I took the dead cat to my neighbour's house. I don't think it was his cat, but I took it anyway.
Oh dear. Dead cat. Shinun. No, wait. No, this one came up earlier. Shindaneko.
Shindaneko.
Because it's not going to die in the future.
Yes. I'm taking the cat to my neighbour's and then it'll die.
I know pets who live. What's neighbour?
I previously used the word kinjo, but somebody else told me what it was. Can somebody else? Tonari would be next to me, so you could use this tonari no ie ni, but there's actually a full word for neighbour, which is something like what do you
Rinjin.
One more time. Renjin. There's
no, with the I.
Oh, Reijin.
Only an I, not the EI.
Ah.
Rinjin.
Rinjin.
Ah, Rinjin.
Or Zenrin. I don't know, that's a good neighbor.
Rinjin neighbor. Oh, this Rinjin sounds good.
Ah.
Yeah.
Shindaneko or Rinjin no ie ni. It's not bring take motte ikimashita.
Motte ikimashita. Cool. Andre, look towards the enemy who is coming to cut you.
Kiru teki ni kudasai.
One more time.
Kiru teki ni mite kudasai.
Mite kudasai, yes. Just to make it a little bit more challenging, Andre, this is the enemy who is coming to cut you. So not just kiru, but
Kite kuru.
Kite kuru. Teki ni mite kudasai. Good. Excellent. And Penguin, move closer to the people who cannot hear you.
Yoku kikoenai hito ni.
Kikoenai hito ni.
Chikaku ni idou shite kudasai.
Idou shite kudasai. Okay. So if you want to say to approach, there's actually a verb dedicated to this. Do you know what it is? It's got chika in it. It's chikazuku. Chikazuku.
Chikazuku.
So can you put? So if you put that in the sentence instead, Penguin. Yoku kikoenai hito ni. Chikazuite kudasai. Good. Chikazuite kudasai. Excellent. Cool. Let's do some reading. I
have a few questions for the sentence before.
Yeah,
the first one was she is a student who can paint very beautiful pictures.
Yeah, this one here. Kanjo ga kirei ni kaku e gakusei desu. Yes, go ahead.
I think e is in a wrong position.
Yes, sir. Yes, you're absolutely right. So, can you correct this?
I have two corrections from this. The first one is 彼女は
Yeah.
綺麗な絵を描ける学生です。
O. So it's up to you now. This can either be o and kaku, but if this is going to be kakeru, then this has to be a different particle. Ga. Exactly. Yeah.
Kakeru.
Gakusedesu. Yeah.
Kireina.
Kireina or kireini. Kireini means beautifully. So this can be in the adverb sense, or it can be an adjective for the picture. So this could mean she can paint pictures beautifully, or she paints beautiful pictures. Literally, if we did the literal meaning of this, then this would be kireina, but you can have this as an adverb, kireini, as well. Both are fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I suppose that's the only one, the only answer I could correct it.
Yeah, this is fine though.
Yeah. And for the, is this the chair that John was sitting in?
Let's have a look. John-san no suwatte isu desu ka?
I have the other one. I put it into the passive form.
Okay, good.
John-san ni
good.
Suwareta isu desu ka?
Yes, good, exactly. Suwareta isu desu ka? Very good. Excellent.
That's it.
Cool. Okay. In fact, we can do the same thing with this one as well, guys. So let's, as we've done passive as a refresher recently. This means, at the moment, this means please wash the plates that you used or somebody used. But how would you say please wash the plates that have been used? Let's ask Kim.
Passive.
Yeah.
Sukareta.
So let's go through the passive making process. Skull. And then the negative.
You have to skuwanai, yes.
Skuwanai.
So it would be sukawate.
Not what there, but skull. Remember for group one? What do we add after?
Re. Te.
Ta. Skawareta. O. Aratte kudasai. Good. Hi. Cool. Okay, guys, if you can unmute yourselves, let's do some reading practice. Okay. これが毎日使うペンです。
これが毎日使うペンです。
あそこに財布を盗んだ泥棒です。
そこに財布を盗んだ泥棒です。
これが50年前倒れた木です。
これが50年前倒れた木です。
500万円をかかる車があります。
500万円をかかる車があります。
それはよく着る刀です。
それはよく着る刀です。
彼女がきれいに絵が描ける学生です。
彼女がきれいに絵が描ける学生です。
わかる言葉で話してください。
わかる言葉で話してください。
So the word language is often going to come up, I think. We've got a choice of words. Kotoba is fine, actually, just means words. We can also use kokugo, or what's easier to say than kokugo is gengo for language. Okay, let's move on to the next one. ケーキを食べた人は立ってください。
ケーキを食べた人は立ってください。
Waseda ni oshieteru sensei desu ka?
早稲田に教えている先生ですか？
At the moment, it says, "Are you the teacher who teaches at Waseda?" So we should probably mark the subject first. How do I say, "Is that the teacher who is teaching at Waseda?" Anybody?
Sono sensei wa?
Sono sensei wa is fine.
その人は
Yeah, sono hito wa. Or sore wa?
Sensei.
Ano sensei, sono sensei. Yep.
Yeah.
Even sore wa, you can use if that person doesn't hear you say. If the person doesn't hear you talking about them as sore, you can use sore. Shouldn't really use sore directly to the person.
そちら。
Sochira is better. Yeah, you can use sochira and kochira directly to people. Yeah. John-san no suwatte isu desu ka? Let's do the passive as well. John-san ni suwareta isu desu ka? Tsukawareta sara o aratte kudasai. Shinda neko o Rinji no ie ni motte ikimashita. Naze ka wakaranai kedo tanoshikatta desu. Yoku kikoenai hito, yoku kikoenai hito ni chika. Where's it gone? Sorry, I've lost the one that I wanted to use. Let's do this one next. Kite kuru teki ni mite kudasai. Yoku kikoenai hito ni chikazuite kudasai. Right, Kim.
Difficult.
To speak, to pronounce, you mean?
Yes. Tongue twisters.
Okay. Yeah, a little bit. Okay. Amazingly, we've managed to get through the whole of today's lesson in 1 hour. Do you guys want to look at anything in particular we've done in the past, or any questions?
If possible, I would like to do some exercises where we use the different times like Nagara, Aidani, Toki.
Okay.
I was revising this today, and when it's best to use Toki and when it's best to use Aidani and that kind of things.
Sure. Okay. I think we actually had a slide recently. Let me just see if I can find it, which looked at those different timings. Here we go. Let's have a quick reminder of this first before we go on. Okay, so we only did this a few weeks ago, but looking at Aidani, we also looked at a few other different kinds of timing. So Aidani is extremely useful. We can use it much more freely than we can a lot of the other forms of timing. And it works for both space, for example, Portugal to France no aida ni Spain ga arimasu. So between Portugal and Spain, there is France. And we can also use it for time as well, which we'll come to in a second. Now, nagara means to do two verbs for you, for one person, to do two verbs at once, and the subjects need to be the same. So this means that it needs to be you and not you at the same time as somebody else. Te iru, so putting the verb in the te form is the present continuous tense, and aidani means during this thing I did something. So the thing that you do can be as long as this te iru aidani, or it can be instantaneous. You're no longer linked to having to kind of match the durations of the two things. Also, you can do something at the same time as something else happening. We don't have to have the subjects the same. So let's look at three forms of timing we've used in the past. te iru toki. So when we say te iru toki, then this means at some point during this verb. And it would often mean a moment in time. So even if this verb is takes a long duration, if we put toki, then it suggests at some point or in time during this verb going on, during this process. For nagara, this means a simultaneous action by the same subject. So this doesn't have to be exactly the same. For example, you can say, while I was working at the zoo, I was also studying for my exams. It doesn't mean that you every day, the moment you start working in the zoo, you also start studying your exams, but more or less this happens at the same time. The point is that you are doing two things at the same time, so the subjects need to be the same. But the te iru aida ni can be this can happen at any point from here to here. So we can make this, we can use it in the same way we use nagara, we can use it at the same time we use toki. Why not use te iru aida ni all the time then? Well, sometimes we want to make it clear that we are doing two things at the same time, that we are like multitasking. Sometimes we want to make it clear that the thing that happened at some point during a process, but we don't know when. Or we do know when. And we can express this by using te iru toki, means when this gives us some indication as we know when it actually happened, whereas te iru aida ni can be used to suggest that we don't know exactly when this thing took place. So this becomes a little bit easier when we do some of the exercises, which we will do now to help to embed that. Give me a second. Where's aida ni? Here we go. We'll do this first, Tom, and then we'll come back and do doji ni. Although we might have doji ni in this actually. Just a second.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, still on the street.
Are you wearing a big what's it called? Like oh, it's a
baseball
hat.
cap?
I thought it was a hairstyle.
Nah, it's a baseball cap.
Cool. Okay, so let's try some of these then. Let's start. Tom, you can begin. While I was watching television, Shoji's sister was making dinner. So let's identify which ones we can use, which ones we can't. Let's make a little list. Nagara, doji ni, toki, and te iru aida ni. So these will be our examples that we can use. Okay, off you go, Tom.
We can't use nagara because it's two different subjects.
Good.
And we can't use doji ni because it's not instantaneous.
Excellent.
And I think we can use toki.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can use aida ni.
Very good. Yes, we can use either of these. Good.
I don't know which one is the best.
While I was watching television, aida ni.
I would choose aida ni.
I would as well, I think. Je ne sais pas pourquoi, mais
c'est la vie.
C'est la vie, oui.
Terebi o and terebi ga.
I know you're doing it, aren't you?
Yeah, but it's in present continuous, so I can't use o. I have to use ga.
No, use ga for potential, not for present continuous.
Ah, no, terebi o.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Mite iru aida ni.
Good.
Shoji no one-san.
Shoji no One-san.
Ga. Eating. Yoru gohan?
So what do you say when you say good evening to somebody, like you did this evening?
Konbanwa. No, yeah.
Yeah. You say konbanwa. So
Konbanwa.
kon means this, ban means evening,
Ban
wa
gohan.
means ban gohan.
Ban gohan. Tsukute imashita.
Very good. Yeah. Tsukute. Oops. Tsukute imashita. Very good. Excellent. Okay. Joel. It rained while Thomas studied French.
I wouldn't use nagara because it's not the same subject.
Good.
Doji ni, I wouldn't use it either because it's not instantaneous.
Yeah.
So I would do after toki and aidani. I think aidani would be best because you don't know exactly when it happens. It's not a. It was sometime during the interval when Thomas was studying French.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
So Thomas-san ga Fransugo Benkyou shiteiru aida ni.
Good. Benkyou shiteiru aida ni.
Ame furimashita.
Yeah.
Ame ga furu.
Good. Excellent. Well done. Cool. David, while I was cleaning the kitchen, a letter arrived. It was my medical test results.
I think technically you can use nagara, but only if they push it through the envelope, the letterbox very slowly.
Well, no, I think you can use nagara providing you're the one who's delivering the letter.
Okay, so I can't do that one. It's not instantaneous, so I can't use doji ni.
Good.
Toki, I think you can use that.
Mm-hmm.
And teiru aida ni, yes, you can.
Yes.
I'd probably use teiru aida ni because you don't know at what point it arrived.
Yeah, good. If that's what you can either decide to do it this way and say it arrived at some point during the cleaning, I don't know when, or if you want to say I heard it come through the door while I was cleaning, then you can use toki might be better in that case. So the choice is yours, really.
So kitchen, daidokuro o soji shite iru aida ni.
Soji shite iru aida ni. Good.
Tegami to arrive. Todoku?
Yes, good.
Tegami ga todokimashita.
Very good.
Medical test results.
So.
Irio.
Oh, good. Okay. Irio.
No.
It's kekka.
Kekka deshita.
Yes, good. Kekka deshita. Very good. Well done. Well remembered. Excellent. Andre, while I was driving to the hospital, the children were playing noisily in the back. I told them to shut up.
I would use aida ni.
Good.
病院に運転している間に、
yeah.
子供は後ろで、
yeah.
うるさく遊びました。
Very good. はい。
黙れ、コアパーと言いました。
もう一度、黙れ。
黙れ、コアパー。
コアパー。
コアパーと言いました。
言いました。Very good. What's koappa? It's just like kawaii-chan.
It's like a filthy brat or something.
Ah, right, okay. Koappa. Sounds Spanish. Koappa. Luis, the dentist was fixing my teeth while I slept. When I woke up, I could not feel my mouth.
I'm not sure. The Nagara thing just somehow passed me. I don't have it present, but I remember this example.
So there's a regulation for Nagara, which is that the two tasks need to be carried out by the same person. So in this case, could you use Nagara?
I cannot do Nagara.
No, correct. Yeah, you're correct.
So Okay, Toki is just time thingy. Aida is like like between stuff, right? Ah, there's Nagara. Oh, okay, I found it in my notes.
Good.
So I guess I would do Doji ni, right?
So there's a kind of regulation for Doji ni as well, which is it suggests that the two events were kind of instantaneous. And this isn't exactly instant, like that.
No, I probably first fall asleep and then he does my teeth.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so Toki.
Okay.
For Toki, I do just the plain form thingy, right?
Yep.
So Nemu Toki.
So this means when I sleep, but you actually want to say when you slept.
Name. What's the past for name?
For Neru? It's a group 2, isn't it?
Neta. Neta Toki. Neta Toki. Dentist. This was a funny word.
Can anybody help?
Aisha.
Good.
Aisha. 1 second, I have to put my
good doctor.
Aisha-san.
Yeah, exactly. Aisha-san.
Okay.
Sorry, Aisha-san.
Aisha-san.
Okay. Edict, help me.
Tooth. It's in the name of the job.
Ta, right?
No, ha.
Ha.
It's ha. It's
Aisha.
This is like Jonathan said. This is ha, e, sha, which is tooth medicine person. Yeah.
Meine Güte, jetzt hör mal auf hier. So, watashi no ha o Aisha-san, maybe Aisha-san wa watashi no ha o to fix. What would be to fix?
Who can help?
Naosu.
Here. To cure, to heal. Okay. Naosu. So was fixing. So could we do the present continuous form with past at the end?
Yeah.
So naosu, naoshite iru deshita?
Naoshite. So you said iru, so this would suggest that this is imas. Just put imas into the past. What are you searching for, please?
Imashita.
Imashita. Neta toki, Aisha-san wa watashi no ha naoshite imashita. Okay, so this is okay. You would be understood. To speak, to make the sound a little bit more natural. I know this said while I slept, but on the basis that this is a present continuous verb, this should also be in the present continuous tense as well, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, net ima iru, net iru. So again, imashita is not the last one, the one that does the
imashita, but this doesn't have to be in the polite tense in order to put it before toki. So not nette imashita, but nette
ita.
ita. Good. Nette ita toki, Haisha-san wa watashi no ha o naoshite imashita. Okay. When I woke up, I could not feel my mouth.
So agemasu is open.
Akimasu. You mean open your eyes?
Okiru, right?
Okiru is get up. I think in this in this case you can use it. I think it'll be understood that this means when you kind of revive yourself. Usually for waking up. For waking up is normally me or sameru. Normally means to actually for your eyes to open that moment. But if you use okimasu, this is pretty clear that this means you kind of, it's not like you woke up and then you laid on the chair reading a book for a few hours like I tend to do in the morning. It means I woke up and I got up. So okimasu is fine.
Okay, so okimasu, okite, okite when I woke up. Okite ita toki.
This means when I was waking up. Just use the past. Just use the past plane.
Okiru, okita.
Okita.
Toki. Toki.
Yeah.
I could not feel my mouth. Okay. I have to do some research. Kanjiru?
Kanjiru, good.
Feel. So I have to do. Hör dir, ne? Immer dann, wenn ich hier gerade dran bin. Kanjiru is group 2. So kanji. Erstmal I have to do them. Yeah, okay.
Schneller!
Kuchi, right?
Kuchi, yes.
Okikatoki. Watashi no. Nah, I don't have to say that.
No.
Kuchi o. What did I say was feel?
Kanjiru.
Kanjiru. Kanjiraremasen deshita.
Kanjiraremasen deshita. Kara. Kanji o じゃなくて kanji, sorry, kuchi o じゃなくて kuchi
ga.
Yes. Okay. 寝ていたとき、歯医者さんは私の歯を直していました。これは寝てるときね。Sorry, my mistake. This is 寝ているとき。歯医者さんは私の歯を直していました because the actual time when this happened is dictated by this last one. You were right first time. 起きたとき、口が感じられませんでした。Good. Excellent. Taya, I listened to the radio while I was practicing shodo. This way I can completely relax while I draw.
Shodo or練習している間
Could you would you not use nagara? Yeah.
書道練習練習ながら
Renshu, this is a suru, isn't it?
Sorry. 練習練習しているながら
No. So for nagara, all you do is take the mass form of the verb. You can only use it with the present mass form of the verb and replace it with nagara.
Okay. しながら。
しながら。
しながら。ラジオを、 not kikoemashita. Kiitemashita.
It's the right verb, just wrong tense. This is just in the kikimashita. Yeah, this is just in the past, isn't it?
Yes. I don't know. It's complicated.
This way I can completely relax while I draw.
Okay. Kono kanji ni kampeki ni riraksu.
Riraksu. これもながらの文章でしょ。ね。
かける同時に。
Not かける, but just that's what's the infinitive of to draw?
書く。
書く。
書く。Could you say 書くと同時に
This is
書くときに
書くとき is okay. 同時に suggests that this relaxing and this drawing happens in a moment, like in a second. So toki is fine. Aida ni is fine. But this also looks like a nagara sentence to me.
Okay. この漢字に書く。
Turn kaku into nagara? Turn kaku into a nagara. It's exactly the same way as you did before.
書きながら。
書きながら。
書きながらに。
Don't need me, just ながら。
この漢字に書きながら完璧リラックスします。
リラックスできますでしょ。I can do it.
できます。
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, this is hard.
Okay, so kono kanji, you'd be understood if you said it like this. This doesn't really matter, but this is actually an ideal place where if you want to say in this way, in this style, this is kono yoni. This is another use of yoni, kono yoni. Like this, it means like this. Like this, I can, while I draw, I can completely relax. Okay.
I didn't think about that.
That's okay.
This way.
No problem, no problem. Jacqueline. Go ahead, Tom.
Kochira was also possible, or is that more for direction? Kochira, for this way.
This way. Kochira de. You could say kochira de, but it's kochira de kind of means in this direction rather than in this style. So kono yoni is the best way to say this, I think. Yeah. Wayne. During the thunderstorm, the door was slammed shut by the wind.
I know we can use nagara.
Correct. Yeah.
We can use aida.
So did you say we can use nagara? Did you say we can use nagara?
We can't.
We can't. Correct. Yes.
We can use aida ni, and
Good.
I think we can use toki as well.
Yes. Excellent. Good. Yeah, we can.
I don't think we can use doji ni as well.
No, the door slamming shut is instantaneous, but the thunderstorm is not. So we can't really use doji ni.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll try one with toki. You. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, is that their EU? Well, isn't it Ryu? Ryu, isn't it?
Ryu. No toki.
Good. It's a noun, isn't it?
Ni.
We we probably don't need ni.
Okay.
Hmm.
Door.
Yeah.
Maybe as a time reference.
I'll explain afterwards what it would mean if we put ni in there. It's all right. It's okay.
Door ga.
Good.
Kaze ni.
Very good.
Shimeraremashita.
Very good. Well done. Shimeraremashita. So to answer that question about toki ni, as it is at the moment, this means exactly during the thunderstorm, the door was slammed shut by the wind. If we put ni in there, what this does, it slightly changes the emphasis to it was during thunderstorm that the door was slammed shut by the wind. So you can see that it doesn't actually change the sentence that much. You're giving a little bit of emphasis that it's during the thunderstorm it slammed shut, but what the hell, it doesn't make the sentence invalid if you put ni in there. So in this case, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Okay, Kim. While I was attending university, my younger brother was learning how to walk. So here are the choices. Let me just pin these down here for a second. Are you giving me the answer now because you're muted, by the way?
I gave a whole explanation.
Did you explain
Yes.
the whole timing?
It was like paragraphs long. I was giving
really.
Explanation. Yes, yes.
And all perfectly correct as well, I expect.
I hope so. So Nagara is not possible. I was telling because there are two persons.
Correct.
I and the younger brother.
Good.
Doji ni. Well, I suppose he's not learning the same duration as I am attending university.
I mean, in any case, doji ni normally means two things which kind of coincide.
Yeah, so that's
in moments rather than over durations.
Yeah, so no. Toki, yes, and aida ni, yes.
Good, yes.
So I made of it.
Okay.
Daigaku ni.
Daigaku ni.
Zaigaku shite iru.
Ooh. And what does zaigaku mean, Kim?
Attending university. Attending something.
Excellent, good.
Attending a lesson. Aida ni.
Sorry, daigaku ni.
Daigaku, oh, no. Daigaku shite iru.
Sorry.
Zaigaku shite iru.
Okay.
Iru. Aida ni.
Very good.
Then I said, watashi no ototo ga.
Actually, if you use ototo, it automatically means yours anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ototo ga.
Yep.
Arukikata. Oh, and then I used my bad verb, I think, but I couldn't find it. So I used manande imashita.
Very good. Manande
imashita.
That's perfect. Perfect. You can use manande. It's absolutely fine. Oh, really good. Okay, Penguin. If I don't drink tea while teaching Japanese, then I get thirsty.
もし日本語を教えている間にお茶を飲まないと。
飲まないと。
喉が渇
Very good.
きます。
Very good. Excellent. Well done. Jonathan, while I was driving to London, I saw a horse.
I was wondering about the previous one. I don't think. Could you also just use Shinagara since you're the person who is both not drinking the tea and teaching Japanese?
I'm not sure if you can use. I'm not sure if you can use Nagara with a negative though. 日本語を教えながらお茶を飲まないと。
I guess if you would use it on the teaching Japanese, because that's not a negative one.
Yeah. Yeah, because
But I
usually.
get your point.
I think you cannot use it this way.
Yeah, I think you usually use nagara to say the two things you are doing. I'm not sure you can use it with a negative conditional after it though. I don't think. Otherwise, I mean, if it was I do drink tea while teaching Japanese, then yeah, of course you can use nagara. Then I'm not sure you can use it with a negative though. That's my only thing. Yeah.
Okay, so for this one, because the driving is a long ongoing thing, and the seeing of a horse is, I guess, just a split second.
Unless the horse is running next to you.
I guess if it's running with, I would say nagara. But I think for this one, toki would be good.
Yes, good.
So then, ロンドンに運転するとき、馬を見ました。
Yes, good. Very good. Excellent. Kim, go ahead.
There's 2 questions.
Sure.
In the previous one.
This one?
Yes. Is it possible to use, because I did non-dara.
Non-dara is also fine. Non-dara is absolutely fine. Nomanakattara. Nomanakattara.
Nomanakattara. Okay.
So
Then
it has
you
to be
put it again
negative.
in the negative. That was my question. Can you put a tara form in a negative?
Yeah, just so let's quickly do that. Nomu, nomanai. Treat this like e adjective now for the tara form. So noma na. Just do the past affirmative first. I did not drink. Kim, you're muted.
Kunakata or kunai.
Nomana.
Kunai?
So, no, not kunai, but past is
kata.
Kata. Yep. And then you can put this into the tara form. Nomana kattara.
Tara. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one, unten shite iru toki.
Both of these would be fine, actually. Both of these are fine.
Same?
Yeah, I mean.
What is the difference between just unten suru?
Just a second. Uma o mimashita. As this is in the past, this event's in the past, you can see it's that's inferred by the mimashita. Unten suru and unten shiteru are kind of the same thing in this case. Unten suru when I drove to London, and when I was driving to London. Yeah.
Yes.
Doesn't unten suru suggest that you saw the horse before you began driving to London?
It unten suru. It kind of positions it for the moment that you start, really. I know before we did this thing about completion, but as this is looking in the past, it's not quite so critical, I don't think. Unten suru toki. Unten shiteru toki. No, you might be right, actually. Unten suru toki. Actually, Jonathan, this is actually the way I think in this case, shiteru toki is probably better. The reason why, this is either saying before I drove to London, I saw a horse, or it means whenever I drive to London, I see a horse. When I used to drive to London, I saw a horse.
It's what you explained with the previous grammar, right? I mean, that's kind of what happens here. We're putting a verb to describe a noun.
Yeah. So I think shiteru toki is probably best in this, as Joel said. Yeah. Okay. Joseph, While I was drinking coffee, my wallet was stolen. I had to call the police.
コーヒーを
コーヒーを So which one's?
No, I
Go ahead.
think Aida,
Yeah.
because Nagara cannot be because I didn't steal my own wallet.
Yep.
Fully.
Correct.
I was long drinking a coffee, so cannot be Doji.
Good.
And then Toki feels weird for me because it's a time stamp and not a period.
Right. Right.
So I would say Aida.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. If you'd said Toki, this would suggest that you knew the exact time while you were drinking coffee that your wallet was stolen. But if you're saying it happened at some point during this process, then Aida ni is the right one to use. Yeah.
And now I just have to remember how was Aida ni. Coffee or non-deiru Aida ni.
Very good. Yeah.
飲んでいる間に財布が
Good.
I know the 泥棒. What was the stealing? 盗む? No.
Very good. Yeah, 盗む. Exactly. Yeah.
財布が盗んだ盗まかった
財布が So this is actually going to be put into the passive form, isn't it?
Yeah, true. 財布が盗まれた
Very good.
ました。盗まれました。
Very good. Excellent.
盗まれました。警察。
Yeah.
警察を飲まなければ。
Did you say yobu?
Yeah, yobu. Yeah. I said nomu, but no.
I thought you said
I don't drink the police. I call the police. 呼ばなければ。
呼ばなければね。
呼ばなければなりませんでした。
Very good. Excellent. Well done. Good. Tom, while you're shopping, could you go to the post office and buy some stamps for me, please?
Difficult ones.
Yeah, this is actually. Which one? Let's go. Let me grab the timing references again. And let's go through and see which ones make sense to use. Right. Can we use Nagara?
I don't think so, because the second part implies it's something you do short and it doesn't start and end with in the same time as the first part.
Exactly. Good. So Nagara's out.
Dojini is also out because the shopping will take some time.
Good.
It's not instantaneous.
Excellent.
So I would guess the Aidani.
Yeah. I think Toki would work as well. Both are fine, I think. You can use whichever one you wish.
I'll go for the Aidani.
Okay.
Shopping was kaimono suvo.
Good. Yep.
So kaimono shite iru aida ni. And then I was doubting, but no, it's a yoni. To use yoni for the second part. Or it's
okay, so I was thinking about tamini. If you use yoni, this makes it even less direct. It's like saying, please go to the post office just in case some stamps are buyable.
I thought yoni because the kut is like a potential for me.
Yeah, but this would mean can you go to the post office so that you are able to buy some stamps? But that's not what you're really saying, is it? You're saying go and buy some stamps from the post office.
For me.
Yeah.
Then it's tamini.
Yeah.
So, post office I looked up. So first the post. First
actually, is it tamini? let's do the tamini sentence first, Tom, and then I'll explain why that might be a bit weird.
Okay, so I don't know the word for stamps.
Kitte. Kitte.
Kitte.
Yeah.
So kitte o kau tame.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I looked it up. You bin kyoku.
Very good. You bin kyoku.
Ni.
Sorry, kyoku. I've run out of letters. Sorry, just a second. I need to delete some stuff. Let's delete a few of these. Hang on. You bin kyoku. Hi. Ni.
Ikemasu ka?
Okay. Ikemasu ka?
Can you go? Could you go?
Okay, that's also a way of asking somebody. Yeah, good. Okay. Now, can I just for a second change this into ite kudasai, Tom, just to make the point?
Yeah.
Ite kudasai. Now, just ask yourself for a second what this actually means. This says, for the purposes of buying stamps, can you please go to the post office? But what you're actually asking the person to do is what? What you're actually asking? What's the favor you're asking?
If you would go to the post office for me and buy some stamps.
Right. Can you, if you had a choice of only asking one or the other, either go to the post office or buy some stamps, which one would you pick?
Stamps, because then at least I'm sure I get the stamps.
Right, right. So what you've written here would be understood, and the person would go, yep, I got it. I'm going to go to the post office and buy some stamps. But to sound natural, what you should say really is, please go to the post office to buy some stamps.
I don't need the tamini. You can completely go away, and I can use, because you are doing something for me, I can use the kudasai. Should be enough.
Well, do you remember this form here? Sushi o tabe ni ikimasu.
Yeah, to go and do something.
Right. So you can do, this is better used in this sentence here to say, can you go and buy some stamps from the post office?
Yeah, then I just do the kaimono shite iru aida ni yubin kyoku ni.
No, it's the other way around. So the thing that you're going to do, it goes first.
Okay, and so kite o kau ni.
Not kauni, but kaini. Kaini.
Van de massavorm, ja. Kaini.
Yep.
Iku.
So you can now we can put in the location. Yubin kyoku.
Yubin kyoku ni. And then ite kudasai.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly this. Kite o kai ni yubin kyoku ni ite kudasai. This is a better way of stating it. I mean, you can make it a little bit less. Kai ni yubin kyoku ni x. This makes it in this order, makes it sound a bit more natural.
Then the verbs are together.
Yes. Yeah. Kite o yubin kyoku ni kai ni ite kudasai. Yeah.
Couldn't you like combine them, like ite kai something like? Combine the. Yeah, combine the two verbs. Katte or something.
Isn't that already kind of what's happening with kainite?
Yeah, if you do katte there, this actually makes buy first, then go. That's the problem.
Ite katte.
Ite katte would be good, but this form of doing it like this is a much more natural way of saying go to do something rather than go and do something.
And if sorry, if you say ite kaimasen ka?
Yeah, let me just explain what I've just said there though. If you say yubin kyoku, let me just isolate all the information first. Kite o, so we've got post office and stamps. Ite katte kudasai. So this is what you're suggesting, isn't it, Joseph? This is okay. This will be understood. This means go to the post office and buy some stamps. But if you say yubi, all this other stuff here, yubin kyoku ni kitte o kai ni itte kudasai. This means go to the post office, copy and paste this, to buy some stamps. So in terms of just sounding natural, this sounds a bit more like I'm asking you to go to the post office for the purpose of buying some stamps. This one is fine, but it sounds like go to the post office and go and buy some stamps as well.
Yeah,
so
like
it's
stack management.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
go and stand in the post office for a few hours and then buy me some stamps, please.
Okay.
I mean, not literally this, but this would be completely understood. This one is a little bit more natural to do it like this. Go to the post office to buy some stamps.
And the itte kaimasen ka, that doesn't fit either.
This is itte kaimasen. That's basically the same as this, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But just to be clear, in conversation, you'd be completely understood. It doesn't make that much difference. It's just that this one is a little bit more natural. Yeah. Okay. And then, Joel, last one. Don't put your elbow on the table while you were eating.
食べているとき。
食べているとき。
机。
Table is table. Table.
Table に。
Good.
肘が。
肘. Sorry, I just need to delete some stuff. Sorry. 肘.
が置かないでください。
Why ga?
Sorry?
Why ga? This is actually putting, this is you putting your hiji, or yeah, exactly. Yeah, or kanaide, did you say?
置かないでください.
Yeah. If you said,
is it the correct verb? Because I was trying to find another one, and all I could come up with was oku.
Noseru would be better.
Noseru, okay.
Yeah, yeah. You'd be understood if you said oku, but it sounds like you're taking your elbows off your arms and placing them on the table.
Yes,
whereas,
that's why I was looking for another one.
Yeah, noseru is better.
Nosete, nosanaide kudasai.
Yes, nosanaide.
Nosenaide kudasai.
Yeah, nosanaide kudasai. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Sorry, nosenaide kudasai is correct. Yeah. Yeah. How would you say this in a little bit more of a demanding tone, Joel? Like it's a command.
I can't remember it. I know we've been through this a couple of weeks ago, but I can't remember it.
Okay, David.
Just drop the kudasai.
Nosenaide. Okay. How about even stronger than this?
Noseru na.
Noseru na. Exactly. Noseru na. Very good. Cool. Wow, we used up some time there. It's good.
I have a question about this one though.
Sure.
Shouldn't you put the two things that's happening the other way around? Because it feels now like the long action that's taking place is someone putting his elbows, and the eating is kind of like happening in and out. While I would expect the eating to be like the thing that's happened for a while, and like during that, you put your elbows on the table.
So actually, this is doing that. This is saying while you're eating, don't put your elbows on the table.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
but I thought it's a table at the beginning.
Yeah, so this could be tabeteru aida ni as well, for example. Just say while you're eating, don't put your. But toki is a much better one for this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a small mark on. Could you go to the post office and buy some stamps for me?
Yep.
I think itte kudasai is kind of commanding to do it, like him to do it, and I would use itte moratte mo ii desu ka?
Itte moratte mo ii desu. I guess it depends who you're asking. If this is a member of your family, then that might be a little bit formal. Itte kudasai, I think, is fine. Moratte ii desu ka means, can I get you to go to the post office?
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on who you're asking this to. If you're asking this to your teacher, for example, that would be maybe a little bit demanding.
That's quite informal.
Yeah, but for just a member of your family, this would be fine. Yeah. Okay. Last thing I just want to go over is the order of nagara. Which verb comes first? And we've got a really good example to help with this. So let's do an example. I listened to the radio while I was studying. Okay, so for example, I might say, Benkyou shinagara radio o kikimashita. Or I might say, radio o kikinagara benkyou shimashita. Now, I know that the English sentence has got these in a kind of critical order. In this actual scenario, does it matter which way around they go? Is there any difference to I studied while I listened to the radio compared to I listened to the radio while I studied?
Yes.
In reality, is there a significant difference?
It's a langativity. Do you say that in English? Whatever. It's a length difference.
It's a length difference, do you say?
Length, yeah. Which one was longer and which one was the one that you were doing, and meanwhile something happened.
Yeah, you could do it this. You could think of it this way. You could think that this, in this case, this is the one that starts and finishes first. Starts first, finishes afterwards, and this happened in between. You could imply exactly. That, couldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, with nagara, and in fact, even in English, you could imply that, but you could also not imply that. Both could be fine. You could, for example, grab your book, turn on the radio, and begin, and then snap your book closed, turn off the radio, and this would still be nagara. And it would also still be written like this in English. So you could want to imply that by using it this way, but there's sorry, go ahead, Jonathan.
Yeah, I would actually not see it per se as a time thing. I mean, I do understand what Joseph means. Yeah, but I would rather see it as like, what is my main action and what is my secondary action?
Like a sub-action.
So like studying is what I'm actually doing.
Right.
And I just happened to listen to the radio. It wasn't like my goal of that moment was to listen to the radio and I just, while I'm listening, I guess I'll study.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a timing thing. There's a priority kind of consideration as well. So in this case, Benkyou shinagara radio kikimashita puts the emphasis on studying, right? This is the main task. Yes, okay. So there's also a cause and effect. Sorry, I should also say, with these ones, if it's not actually all that determined which is the main task and which is the subtask, then these can go around either way. It's the cause and effect one which actually has the most significant difference on the order, biggest impact on the order. And that would be something like this onion cutting one, which is important to not switch around. If you switch these two around, it doesn't impact on the meaning of the sentence that much. But for example, negi o kirinagara nakimashita is this cause and effect example. Now, at the moment, this is fine. This means this kind of really works in the same way that you two have said about the timing and the priority. I started cutting onions first, and then I started crying. But actually, it's that, but as well as the fact that cutting the onions made me cry. Now, the reason why this is important is if I turn this around, naki nagara negi o kirimashita, this completely changes the meaning of the sentence. It now sounds ridiculous. It sounds like I'm crying, I'm really sad. I know, I'll go and cut some onions. It's like you're using onions to cure yourself from crying. So in this case, it's absolutely critical that the order is the right way around. So if you memorize this one as being the way of defining which one is the critical, important, primary, first to occur process, then it's easy to remember which way around they should go. Right.
Use irony.
Yeah, or use irony. yeah, exactly. Okay, any questions, guys, about today?
Yeah, for the causative, you could also do to, right?
Negi o kiru to nakimashita. Yes, that was a natural reaction. You could, yes.
Okay.
Negi o kiru to, yeah, nakimashita, yeah. Any other questions? Cool. Otsukaresama deshita. See you Sunday, guys, if you're there. If not, see you next week. Taya, Kim, I might be a bit late on Saturday, tomorrow, because I've got to drive. Sunday, rather. Sunday, sorry, yeah, because I've got to drive back from London, but
no problem.
I'll try to make it in time. Okay. 良い週末を。じゃあね。
お疲れ様でした。
お疲れ様でした。ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
Have a good weekend.